So here we go with A2 Pure, Chapter 2.1, Lesson 2, Starter 3. Find the values of A, B, C, D for the value for the below. 3x minus 1 over x minus 1 squared, 2x plus 3 is identical to A over x plus B over x minus 1 plus C over x minus 1 squared plus D over 2x plus 3. Notice I've set it up for you that because we've got that quadratic term x minus 1 squared, we get two terms on the right hand side. Yeah, we get the term here, b over x minus 1, and the term here, c over x minus 1 squared. Two terms coming from this term on the left hand side. Okay, have a go and then check out the rest of the clip. Right, so what do we have to do to solve this? Well, first thing to do is to multiply by the denominator, as we usually do, and we're going to get 3x minus 1 is identical to a, and the x term will cancel with x to leave x minus 1 squared 2x plus 3 plus one of the, on the next one, the x squared term will cancel with the x minus 1 term, or the squared part will cancel to leave b lots of x minus 1, 2x plus 3, plus c lots of, and this time the denominator is x minus 1 squared, so it cancels with the whole thing. So the numerator is left as c times x times 2x plus 3. Plus d lots of, and this time the 2x plus 3 cancels with the 2x plus 3 to leave x minus 1 squared. Okay, so now we can go through and use our standard approaches by putting in values of x. So let x equal 0 first, because we've got an x term here, an x term here, an x term here, and an x term here. Okay, so b, c, and d will be eliminated because b times 0 is 0, etc., etc. That will leave on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side we'll have minus 1. Minus 1 is equal to a times negative 1 squared times 3. So that will give negative 1 equals 3a, implies a equals negative 1/3. Next, well, what else could we pick? We could pick x equals 1, because that will eliminate this term, and this term. So that will leave us c as the only thing we don't know. So putting that in gives 3 lots of 1 minus 1 equals 0 lots of a, 0 lots of b, c lots of 1 times 2 lots of 1 plus 3. So that gives 2 equals 5 times 1 is 5c, implies c equals 2/5. Okay, not too bad so far. What else could we do? Well, I think the next thing we've got to do is let x equal negative 3 over 2, because that will allow this bracket to be 0, this bracket to be 0, this bracket to 0, and then we'll be able to find d. So let's go. 3 lots of negative 3 over 2 minus 1 equals 0a plus 0b plus 0c equals d times negative 3 over 2 times negative 3 over 2 minus 1, which I'm going to think of as minus 2 over 2 squared. Tidy that up, minus 9. And again, we can think of this as 2 over 2. So minus 9 minus 2 is minus 11 over 2 is equal to d times negative 3 over 2 times negative 5 over 2 squared. So we've got negative 11 over 2. Negative 5 squared is 25, so it's minus 75 over 8. 2 squared is 4, times a 2 is 8, lots of d. So multiply up by the 8, we get minus 44 over negative 75 equals d. So d equals 44 over 75. So we've now got A, C and D. So the only thing left to do is find B. And there's a number of ways of doing that. But the other approach we have is coefficients. So we're going to look at coefficients of, and I've always said look at the extremes first. So I'm going to x cubed terms first. So from the first lot, we've got x times x squared times 2x, which will give us 2ax cubed. So that's 2a, lots of x cubed. On the left-hand side, we had 0. There are no x cubes up here. Okay, now we've got 2x times x times x. So again, that's 2bx cubed. So we've got plus 2b. The c term, there are no x cubes. And the d term, we've got x squared times x. So we've got plus d. Now, hopefully then we can find out the value of b from here. So a is negative 1/3. So we've got 0 equals negative 2/3 plus 2b plus 44 over 75. Well, as usual, get it on one line, multiply through by the denominator. Let's take the 75, so we get 0 times 75 is 75 over 3 is 25, so this becomes minus 50 plus 150b plus 44. So we've got minus 50 plus 44 is negative 6 plus 150b. So b is equal to 6 over 150, which we can simplify down to 2 brain's gone dead. So it's 2 over 50, which is 1 over 25. Okay, so now we can substitute those back in. 3x minus 1. 3x minus 1 over x minus 1 squared 2x plus 3 is identical to a, which is negative 1/3 of x. Yeah, and we're using that a over b over c equals a over bc idea, because we would have started with negative 1/3 for a over x, which is equal to negative 1 over 3x. Okay, I'm not going to go through that on each fraction. So plus b, which is plus 1 over 25 lots of x minus 1. Plus c, which we've hopefully got somewhere, c 2/5. So plus 2/5 of x minus 1 squared plus d, which is 44 over 75 plus 44 over 75, lots of 2x plus 3. And hopefully you got that right.